Today we're doing 2 sermons, but we're going to get done early because they're Frank sermonettes. Okay? Many times during the year we just need to get a short and brief update on what our church is doing with our food pantry. First of all, for all the people and all the people in our community that get things, I can't express enough thank you to all of you, because everyone in this church, one way or another, is part of our food pantry. If you take an average bag of food and put an average cost on it, and talking to other pantries, that cost is anywhere, they predict, from approximately $40 to $65. Transportation, going and buying and everything. If we put a cost of $45 on the bags of food we give out during the year, we give out approximately now around $25,000 of food in our community. Many of you are parts of buying stuff, sorting stuff, helping. We have services for people. Elaine and some of you here had a dinner for them. These people are very appreciative. One thing that always gets brought up that I hate to bring up, but is everyone always asks, what about, are there people that get it that shouldn't, that don't deserve it? And the way we work around that is I go visit all these people. And that occurrence of things like that happening is extremely low. On the other hand, families being affected by things like substance abuse and things like that are far, far more prevalent than anyone getting food that shouldn't. These are natural occurrences that happen in our group and all over. It's been asked sometimes why our group of people that we help changes often. Many of them move. The people that we donate to, the families between 25 and 30, or at least a third of them will rotate about every 6 months. We find out new families through the school, through counselors that I stay in touch with, and just because we have a reputation that we give food out and don't have a lot of paperwork involved. When things like that do happen, families are I inform places like family social services and things like that. To keep giving food to a family that has a problem like that, what we're doing is fostering the problem. You're not helping them, you're not helping the kids. They need to have help that we are not able to do. And many of them appreciate that too. On the best note of all is what these people think of all of you. Ollie and Larry have delivered food for me. A couple of years ago, they delivered food to a place. We don't even need to mention who it was or anyone. But Ollie and Larry came back, and I think they had been crying. Some of these places that we go to are, they really need food. You might be tempted when you see some of these people to give them money, and we keep everything to non-perishable food. Though I will tell you that place that you two went to, I went there and brought them food once, and they knew I was coming, and they gave me a cake. So Frank took a $20 bill and threw it inside their car, so I might be two-faced when I say don't give them money, but they've given me a cake, and you're walking out, and this place looks like it's going to cave in, and I'm afraid they spent money on a cake for me that I really, but these people have brought things. When you think of different things that you go through in life, and you come up here to help with the food distribution, and And one night I'm up here and I'm upset about one of my business insurance rates that had about doubled. And one of the groups that are coming to get food brought some kitchenwares that they thought they didn't really need and maybe someone else could use them. Well, you know what that is? That's God. He goes like this and he does that to you. It's a wonderful thing. And what you're doing is a wonderful thing. Many of these people have participated in some of the other functions we have through our youth group that Sarah's working on, have been to some of our church services, have done some counseling with Pastor Mike. So they are becoming involved in our church way more than what has been in the past. Obviously, and today I can easily say none of those families are here today, but when they have been, it's not something you bring up. We try to do this as much as we can to save face. But I think if you were thinking about what God would want us to do, the food is probably the smallest part. It's helping them manage themselves and get God in their lives. And that's what we're really doing. On behalf of all those families, to all of you, I can't say thank you enough, and they really appreciate it. We have a reputation in the area of what we do. We have Boy Scouts that give us products, Girl Scouts. Rick's gives us pickup loads of food. And, I say, hey, go shop at Rick's. There's a reason. When they have non-perishable products that are expired, they are required by law to throw them out. If they donate them to a food pantry, they will get some credit for it. We get a free pickup load of cereal updated by a day. Who cares, Because we don't take any government funding or anything, we can make our own rules up. We have looked into getting food through the government, but you know what a stack of paperwork is like? We have one sheet we fill out on everyone for information. To obtain food through the food bank in this state is a nightmare. I mean, they have things written on there. Why do we need to know the race of the person? And all of you know, when the government is involved, there's going to be paperwork. We have so many private people that fund this, many of them that you have I have Federation of Eagles that meet at the bar in Shields. They typically always give us a check for $200. Give us cash. They met me one day, we didn't have time to put it in a check. They handed me a bunch of cash. That's the trust that we built up with many organizations around because of what we're doing. So, on behalf of the community, when Pastor Mike says we pray for our church and our community, I think this is one area where we are really succeeding, and all of you are a part of it.
And not because of you.
No, it's not because of me. About 15 years ago, Margaret, Gladys Campbell, and I were passing food out on Christmas and we said, these people, they need food all year long. And we started, Ken Wilsey built a thing back there, a nice shelving to stimulate people to walk in. We used to have an old table that people and it went from there. From 4 families to 120-some people or whatever. So, today's sermon title says rules. We have 2 scripture readings. Proverbs 19, verse 21. You can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail. And one of my favorites that I've always remembered on rules is Psalm 119, verse 93. I will never forget your commandments, for you you have used them to restore my joy and my health. This is the author of Psalm 119 saying this to God. By the way, Psalm 119 is the largest chapter in the Bible. Okay, let's put Psalm 119 into layman's terms. Again, he said, I will never forget your commandments, for you have used them, God, to restore my joy and my health. All right, so your two kids, I'm sure, have taken that and they've said, Dad, I can never forget all the rules you gave me because they make me happy and they make me healthy. They say that a lot to you, don't they? Not right to you, no. And again, when I go like this, I never said anything like that to my mom and dad. Man, I can't believe the rules you put me under and what you tell me to do, they make me happy, and I know they make me healthier. Is that crazy? Think for a second of things that you've done, that you've just done on a whim. Maybe not necessarily asking for God's guidance, but things that you've done that probably have been good, and you got it done, and you just said, I never want to do that again. The writer of this psalm, though, talks about things he's done where he's had God behind it. Let me give you an example. Two examples. One is an example of a young man that I worked with at the rescue mission. He is addicted to crack cocaine. For weeks, I would swing by the rescue mission and he would jump in my truck and we'd go and I'd go look at fields and he'd ride with me and open the window and the guy was just happy. I said, and I'm hammering away and it's hot and I'm walking fields and I said, why are you so happy? He quoted this. He said, now that I follow God's rules, it's simple. All I do is and these are what he perceived as rules. Go to church, basically do things that don't involve using crack cocaine. And God is just floating down there, just to be able to walk with me when it's 90 degrees through crops and walk 10 or 15 miles and do that. Because think of it's perception, it's perspective. God restored him. Think of all the work that we do during sawdust days. Okay? I'm not really looking forward to sawdust days in September. I think about getting here at 4 in the morning to make pancake batter that has to be the perfect consistency or the aforementioned Ollie Miller will whine and it's too thick, it's too thin, I'm running out. Oh, God. Luckily, I bring a big thing of cheese to go with that wine that he has, but my goodness. And I got a whole kitchen load of women's, and then, you're trying to direct a bunch of women's, and that. Okay, so we hammer through that. Whether it's that, or whether it's the bazaar that we have, where we have a cookie sale being led by Virginia, and we have all the other things going on. At the end of the day, you go through it, and you're sitting there, you just finished cleaning up. Oh, I'm glad that's done. And then I look at someone like Sue Welke, or Gladys, and they're just smiling, because not so much rules, but we're doing something that God has us do. There's a difference between following rules and doing something good and actually asking for help from God and doing that. Sure, Gene Larkin and I, we go down in the basement and have a shot of whiskey when we're done. But, you know. The proverb that mentioned you can make many plans, but God's purpose will prevail is something that we're going to end with. When you're thinking of rules and things you're doing in life, it's not our rules. That buddy of mine would never, he'd been on crack cocaine for 21 years, never got over it until he let God's plan prevail. Think of that. Think of what we can do when we're asking for guidance from God, for His rules.